In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a program within Microsoft Excel that will allow you to save your workbook as a PDF. This program is going to have a user form show up when you run uh, the macro. It's going to be through a macro that I create that's going to bring up a user form. You're going to put a file path and then also the name that you want to save your workbook as, and it's going to save it as a PDF for you. Okay, so for me to do that, I will need a tab here called developer. For me to get the developer tab, I will right click any of the tabs on the ribbon, and then I come down to customize the ribbon. Okay, once I do that, this window comes up. I look to the right here, and then I click on developer. Okay, once I do that, the developer tab is here, and then I click that. Okay, once I click the tab, I have the macros area right here. This is the code group, and here I can record a macro. So let me get some initial code as far as like the programming this program will go. Let me get the initial code, and then we'll modify the initial code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record a macro. Okay, and I'm going to call it let's say macro PDF, macro PDF. Okay, and it's going to be within this workbook, so macro PDF, and then I hit OK. So now I'm going to record a macro of me saving this document as a PDF file. Okay, so I have this document here. I'm going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to browse. I'm going to choose to save it to my desktop. Okay, and now I'm going to come down here, save as type. I'm going to choose PDF. Okay, so the document has been saved as a PDF. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the code for the macro that was just created. So I'm going to go to Visual Basic right here. Okay. So now I am under the programming environment. I'm going to go to Modules. I click the plus sign here, and I have a module 1, and this is where my macro code is. Okay, so as you can see, it has this function here telling it to go to the C drive users info and put this on my desktop, and then you have the active sheet export as blah blah blah. So you have all this code here. What I'm concerned with is the code that is happening here and also here. Okay, because what this does is it tells this right here tells Microsoft Excel in the code to go to this path and save my document here. And this code right here says this is the name of the document. Okay, this is the name that if you're going to save it, you want to give it. Okay, so this is hard coded. These two are hard coded. That means the way the macro is now, it's not efficient. So that means each time I run it, it would save it in the same location and also in the same as the same name. So that would not work. It would probably give you an error if I run it again and try to save it with the same exact name on the same exact location. So what I want to do is modify this code to where I can change the location of where it's going to be saved, and I can change the name of where it's going to be saved without coming in here to do it. So what I'm going to utilize is an object called UserForms in VBA language. Okay, a user form is basically a form that you bring out and you can put other objects on it. Okay, so I'm gonna go up here, this little box here, click the drop down arrow and choose user form. Okay, once that's open, once it opens, there's also what's called a toolbox here. The toolbox allows you to place objects on your user form. These are objects. Okay, so I'm going to choose this text box object. I'm going to click text box, and I'm going to come here. I'm going to draw my text box. I'm going to do another text box. I'm going to come here and draw the second text box. Okay, I'm also going to label them. Okay, so I'm going to label, let's move this a little bit down, and also let's stretch it. I'm going to label the first text box, I'm going to call it file name. So for me to do that, I'm going to have to go into its properties. So I'm going to right click and choose properties. Once I do that, its properties window shows up. And here's the name here. I'm going to leave it label 1, and I'm just going to come down here where it says, let's see, caption. I'm going to change the caption to file name. Okay, and then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, that's that. Let's see. So file name. So this is where we're gonna type our. I'm sorry. I meant to say file path. I want this to be the file path. So let's go back. Put file path. Okay. I want this one down here to be the file name. So that means this is where we are going to type the file path, like where we want it to be saved. The location is going to save it, whether it's our desktop, whether it's our C drive, my documents, etc. And down here, I want it to be the file path. This is where we are going. This is the name we're going to give it. Okay. So I'm going to, again, while the properties window is still up, this is label 2. I'm going to come here and put in file name and hit enter. Okay, so text box 2, text box 1. I'm also going to come here and put a command button here. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it as command button 1. Okay, so now I have the form created, and I have the text boxes on it, and then I have this command button. Now we have our code here in the modules. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the code that's here and I'm going to copy it. Well, I'm going to cut it completely, and then I'm going to go to the user form area, and then I'm going to put the code under the command button 1 object. Okay, the reason I'm putting it under the command button 1 object is the clicking. I want the user, once they put in the file path and also the file name, I want them to click the command button. It's when you click the command button that the actual finding of the location and the actual saving the file name will begin. It will not begin when the form shows up. So when you so as you can see right here, it says command button click. Once the command button is click, that means after that run the code that is within the command button. So okay, so for me to make this really efficient, I'm going to have to declare some variables. So I'm going to say dim um, file name as string. I will explain this in a second. And then I'm going to come down here and say dim path as string. Okay? The reason I'm doing this is I'm going to use the file name variable and also the path variable to replace these two. Well, this whole section here. I'm going to replace this whole section here and right here. Okay, so the file name is going to take the place of this section right here. Not just the file name, there's some other coding behind it. So let's do that now. And also come down here and I'm going to say now file name equal userform 1 dot text box 2 and path equals userform 1 dot text box 1. Let's put this on top here. Okay, and then I'm gonna get rid of this. I don't need this because I'm gonna combine these two. This can go. So now I'm gonna come here. Let's say file name equals, let's get rid of this. We're gonna put file name equals path. So we're going to come here, file name equals path. Okay, and I'm going to put the and sign, file name again, and then we're going to put another and then we're going to put, let's say, now for the .pdf, close that, and we're going to do that. Let's see, is that okay? .pdf quality. Okay. Okay, so so let's try. Okay, so let's see what happens. So now we have our code within the command button. Let's see if I run, let's go back to the module. And now I only want one, just one line of code to be in this macro PDF, and that's to bring up the user form. So I'm going to say user form, let's see, user form 1 dot show. Okay, so that means when I run the macro, I want it to show the user form, and then I can begin doing what I need to do. So let's see, let's go here and let's try to run the macro. So okay, I'm back to my form. To get back to the spreadsheet environment, when you are in the Visual Basic VBA programming environment, go up here and this Excel icon here and just click that, and that will take you back. Okay, so now I'm back. I want to run the macro. I go to macros, and here's my macro here. I am going to run it. Let's see. Let's run. Okay, so as you can see, one part is happening. The form shows up. So now I am going to try to save it to my, let's say, my documents. I'm going to try to save it to my documents area. Okay, so let's see. So let's go into documents and show you that there's nothing there. My documents. I'm going to go to C. Gonna go to, I want to note the exact path, C users, and then I'm gonna go in here, and then I'm gonna go into my documents. So instead of typing it in, I'm just gonna select it here, okay? And I'm gonna come back here. Yep, and I'm gonna paste the path here. Okay, and then I'm gonna, let's see, put a backslash, and I'm gonna give it a name. I'm gonna say Bob's PDF, and let's see if it works. And I have a syntax error. Okay, so let's see what's wrong with this code. I see already I don't have, when working with VBA programming, if you want to go to the next line, you have to put an underscore here. So I'm missing that. Let's go back. Okay, so here's you have to put an underscore on this line, indicating that you are going to the next row. Okay, and right here, I think I have too many these little commas here. Let's see. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, so let's see. No, let's do that. There we go. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm gonna go back here and I'm going to run the macro. I click run. Okay, so let me find my path. Here's the path that I want. I'm gonna paste it in here, and I'm gonna put this right here, and let's say Bob's PDF worksheet, and I'm gonna click okay, and I think it's saving it. Let's see, and then boom, here we go, it saved it, and then it opened it up. So now I'm going to the path in which I told it to save it and see if it's there. Okay, so here it is right here under my documents, Bob's PDF worksheet. Okay, so now let's say we want to use our macro and place our macro on the quick access toolbar to later on use in our spreadsheets. Okay, so for me to do that, it's quite simple. Here's my quick access toolbar here. I would right click on it and a menu would show up. I would choose customize quick access toolbar. I select that, this window comes up. I go up here where it says choose commands from, and then I would click the drop down arrow, select macros. Once I do that, all the macros I would have created would be here. I only created one, so here it is right here. I select the macro and then I choose add here. I click add and then I hit OK. And then here's the macro up here. Okay, so if I click it, it comes up and I'm gonna give it a path. Let's say, before I saved it under the my documents folder. So this time I'm gonna give it a different path. I'm gonna make it the desktop. So I'm gonna change the documents to desktop. Okay, and then I'm gonna come here and put my macro spreadsheet. Okay, PDF file. Okay, that's a long file path. Okay, and then I just hit to save it. And it's processing it, and it's saving it, publishing it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, it saved it, and it's opening up the PDF file. So now let's go to the desktop and see if it's there. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see, go to the desktop, and here it is right here, my macro spreadsheet PDF file. Okay, it's under the desktop right here. There you go. And that's basically how you do that. Okay, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.